Welcome to the farm. Today we have lots of different projects going on, and I'm going to try to bring you along, fill you in on what the happenings are as they happen. First thing this morning is, Toro, who sent us this mower, just sent us a lighting kit. So I'm going to have Sanders put the lights on this. We need to get some lawn mowed today. Because next week they're talking more rain for us. So it's starting to look like a hayfield in the yard. So we need to get some lawn mowed, but first I'm gonna have Sanders tackle the project of putting the lights on. I know it's pretty simple, it looks like, so I think he'll be able to do it all by himself.
Okay, so that one goes to that one. And then you press that one, and you pull that one out.
So that's the off.
So this one goes here, and this one goes here.
Okay.
Okay, this one goes here. This one goes here. At least there's two and not three. If it was three, it'd be weird. And then that gets shoved in there. Alright. Good to go.
Trying to see if the lights will work on the lawnmower. The first attempt is a no. A no-go.
Can I pull this cover off? I don't know which one goes where. Like, I don't know if these white, like if the red's one on this side and the black one's on that side.
Oh.
So I don't know if they're connecting to the right area. It's just a cap.
Alright,
So this plugs into that one. Okay. You need a drum. So
I already hooked that one up to that one.
this one. Try it.
Try it before you buy it. Get it working. Alright, we're gonna mow some yard with our lights on. This here is the deal of the day. So this, inside this bag of potatoes is 16 3-pound bags. Let me show you what they look like. So this is what they look like. They are Green Giant's golden potatoes. This small little golden potatoes. I got two bags of these. So 48 pounds plus 48 pounds. I got almost 100 pounds of potatoes for free. What am I going to do with these? I'm going to cook with some of them. I'm going to give some of them away, and I'm going to can some of them. We like the little golden ones. I actually planted a whole bunch of them, and hopefully these will can out just as nice as the ones that I grow in my garden. There's a local store that had a big pallet of these, bags upon bags, and they said take as many as you want because otherwise they're just gonna go to the dump. So yeah, so I grabbed 2 bags, and don't worry, there was plenty for other people, and they may have had more than I've seen, but they had one palette that I saw. Let's open this up and see what they look like to make sure that they all look okay. No rotten ones. Oof. This bag got a little wet because they were out in the rain. Oh, I'm gonna have to take these all out because moisture's in here. One bag. Two bag. Looks like they're all good though. Fried potatoes, fried in brown butter. What butter is that? Of course, maybe fried in bacon fat would be good. It would be better. That's breakfast. This is happening today. Canning potatoes. These are from some potatoes that I got earlier. Some of these are starting to grow eyes, so I thought I'm going to keep these and see if I can plant them and have a really late potato. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure that I'm going to get much of a harvest. We got about 90 days of growing season left here in Michigan. So if I get these planted in the ground today or tomorrow, even though the eyes are really small, there is a chance that they may produce small potatoes. So I'm not out anything. I'm just going to give it a try and see what happens. So there's just a handful here that all have eyes. The rest I will be canning or eating fresh. First batch is in the canner. Second batch is waiting to go into the canner. What I'm going to do today in the garden is I'm going to till this area all up. This is where I planned on having my watermelon grow, but since the watermelon are not doing anything, I may just keep the watermelon plants just in case they decide to come around. I'm going to till it all back up and plant green beans in here for sure. And I'm trying to figure out if I should do potatoes, cucumbers, or more peas for the fall. Because my peas by the trellises, they didn't like the heat and they are starting to dry up. So I'm going to do that today. I'm also going to do this. Some of you have asked about trimming my onions. I'm running an experiment. This is the first time I've ever done this. So what I do is, here, let me put you down. Cut the onion about here, and then it promotes more green growth. More green growth on the outside means a bigger onion bulb down under the soil. That's an experiment that I've never done before. So then when I get in the house, if I can remember, I'm going to show you what I do with the greens, all of these. Because I have a lot of them. So I'm going to trim these up. I'll show you what they look like once I have them all trimmed up. Alright, so this is what they look like once I've trimmed all of them. Now, if you can see, I dug around this one just a little bit, just to see how big of a bulb it was getting. I don't honestly think it's getting any bigger of a bulb than the ones that I never trimmed. But these still have a long ways to go, hopefully anyways, and then we'll be able to determine in the end whether it was worth it or not. Of course, I'm getting all these greens. See the greens? I'm getting all of those so we can eat that as well, instead of having them grow and then die and then not being used. So now this will promote more greens to grow out of here. Yeah, and that's the whole idea, I guess, behind that. And if it works, then I'll continue to do it year after year. As you can see, I have all these morning glories, and I did give in and let one grow up on the outside of this trellis. These are supposed to be, oh, what are those? Scarlet runner beans, I believe. I did say I was going to show you what I use for fertilizer and stuff for the garden, and I guess I could do that here quick. Okay, we are back in the calf barn because that's where I keep all of my garden supplies because it's real close to the garden. And I have room in here. So this is everything that I use as far as fertilizers, bug control. First things first, my biggest thing that I use the most, diatomaceous earth. I use that as a powder around all my vines, like all my squash and everything. And that keeps the beetles and things from boring into the soil because I put it down usually at the base. I do sometimes put it on the leaves, but this year's been kind of weird where it's been rainy so much that this will just wash right off. So I sometimes put it on the leaves if there's a lot of bugs, but for the most part I put it around the base of it where the roots are so that they don't go and lay their eggs in the soil. That's my dust that I use. I use a lot of this Captain Jack's. Captain Jack's is for organic gardening. This is spinosad. It's supposed to keep away like borers and beetles and caterpillars and things like that. So I forget, what do I usually write on the outside? You can use this on fruit, on your berries, on your vegetables, on your houseplants, things like that. And then this is concentrated. I buy the concentrated and then mix it myself. It's like a few teaspoons per gallon, I think, for this. I usually write, what I like to do is just write it on the bottle what's what. I've been using this for the cucumber beetles, but the only issue is since we've had rain so often lately, rain doesn't stop the beetles, but it does wash off any of your sprays. So I also use a neem oil. I use neem oil mainly for like powdery mildew, rust, anything that may be affecting the leaves of the plant. This also does take care of some insects. So neem oil, I've mixed this with like Dawn dish soap, and that seems to work pretty good. This is something new for me this year. I'm excited to try this if I have to. If I don't have to, I will be excited even more. But this again is for organic gardening to keep. I'm going to be using it for cabbage moths, or I haven't used it for cabbage moths because I think spinosad does just as good of a job keeping them away. But this is going to keep away the tomato hornworms. So I'm excited to use this. This is also an organic product. It is, I believe it's like a bacteria that's already found in the soil. So that's what this is. Yeah, also you have some pyrethrin, and I use I use the same thing as spinosad. Mainly for cucumber beetles is for pyrethrin. I also have some trifecta, and this is very expensive, but I do like to use this. This is all natural. It's all kinds of essential oils. This works great for bugs also, and it also works good for mildew and things like that can harm your plants. So trifecta, sometimes it's hard to get because it's so popular, but it is also expensive. As far as fertilizers and things go, I do put some blood meal down in the spring. You can put it down again in the fall. So I do that for like tomatoes and peppers and things. Another fertilizer that I use is fish fertilizer, and I mainly use this when I start my plants or when I transplant my plants. I'll put this in. After that, once they start getting established, I don't really do anything. But then once they are established and they're starting to blossom, I will put in this, which is True Bone. It is a liquid fertilizer. I use the soil application. It has lots of phosphorus in it, a little bit of nitrogen, but it doesn't have any potash. You need the phosphorus, which is the middle number. You need that for set and blooms. So if you want your plant to set blooms, yeah, get something with a middle number that is higher. That's your phosphorus. This comes from like fermented corn extracts, I believe, and some bone meal, so chew bone. The last thing I really use is this. It's called Tiger Bloom. This has a lot of phosphorus in it, but it has a little bit of potash. If you look at the number, it's 284. And I will use this towards the end of the bloom when they're starting to put forth some fruit and you're starting to see the fruit. This will help build up the fruit. I'm not real big in fertilizing because, you know, in the fall I like to put down compost and build my soil up that way and give it its nutrients that way. So when I show you these, I've had these for several years, and once in a while I use them if I'm thinking about it, but usually I don't. I do not have a schedule for things like this, so if you're supposed to do this like once a week or whatever, that is not me. Maybe a couple times throughout the year I'll do it, but not very often. And my biggest thing is for bug control is just my eyes watching it. You know, I don't regularly spray unless I see a really big issue. If I see a bug, I squish it. If I see eggs, I squish them too. But yeah, it's just kind of watching and seeing how the plants are doing. And if they need some type of spray or dust, that's when I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm really not big into spraying my plants. We have a field that we believe is dry enough to plant sorghum in. So Kevin's going to be working at that. We would have had the sorghum planted a long time ago, but then we got the 8 inches of rain. So that deterred us from planting. Now we have an open window, and hopefully, I think we have 2 more fields that need to be planted. I'm not for sure, but I think it's 2. So we're going to work on that this afternoon. So we have the truck with the trailer, the cattle trailer actually. We're using that to haul the nitrogen tank, and the extra seed. And then I'll bring that to the field once he needs it. First we have to load it all up.
Put up, ready?
Yep, quick whip it up. Got it?
It ain't quite in.
No, it's not. Far? This afternoon. Kevin dropped me off to the back of the field because I didn't want to walk. He said there were black raspberries here, but I know there's blackberries here, and the blackberries are not ready yet. Let me show you. Those are blackberries. They're not ready. The mosquitoes are ready. Goodness. I'm gonna have to come back here maybe in a week or so. They're all back in here too. Nothing's ready. That's normal though. Blackberries are usually a little bit later than black raspberries. So we'll come back. I'll walk along skeeters. I'll walk along here and see if they have any black raspberries. While I wait for Kevin to come back. Look at this. That looks like bee balm. Is that wild? Sure enough, that's bee balm. Must be growing out in the wild. Okay, there's a little bit. Oh man. I wonder where he saw some. Okay, I'm getting bit up. I don't think I'm going to be picking because I'm getting bit up. Oh, there are a couple here though. Let me grab these. Oh, yeah, I'm probably going to just forego. Ow! I'm just going to forego. I'm going to forego picking black raspberries back here. Because mosquitoes and I don't get along. They like to bite me. I don't do anything to them, but they bite me. Oh, wow. I gotta get away from the woods. Oh, they're good berries. There's not very many. It's not very many, and definitely not worth getting bit up for. Ow, goodness. Okay, I'm gonna walk away from the field. Maybe I'll just walk back to the truck. It's only like a quarter of a mile. Not super far. Anyway, the rye we had here, this is ryegrass that we had planted in this field. We planted it this spring, and then we had the co-op come and spray it to kill once we took it off. And they did. Oh, they're biting right through my shirt. And they did, but it doesn't look like it has died much. I'm wondering if they sprayed it and then we got rain shortly after. You're fast. Okay, so here's what I've done with this area. I tilled it all up. I left some of the plants that were still green. I don't know about growing, but green. And then I mounded this. I don't know if you can tell that it's mounded, but it is. And then we're gonna plant these potatoes. These are the potatoes that I've been canning, but these are the ones with eyes. and I don't know how this is gonna go as far as how much they're gonna grow yet this year, but it's an experiment. So definitely gonna mound it here because this is where it flooded pretty bad, and they are talking maybe a few more inches of rain next week, so I want to be prepared. And I'll probably do the exact same thing. I'm gonna do over here another row of probably green beans, and so I'll probably mound that up because that's it's kind of sloped here. You might not be able to see that, but it is, and all the water would drain to those, so I'm gonna mound that up also. Okay, so I planted all of them. I forgot to mention that I plant my potatoes whole. I've been doing that for several years. I used to cut them, but maybe I'm just getting lazy. Also, my row is not straight. I'm gonna take Kevin's advice on this one because he's always said that you get more out of a crooked row. So, stop by the field to check on Ethan. This is a neighbor's field. He's at 130 bales right now. So he has all of this to do. He's done all of this, and they're starting to pick the bales up already. Looks like he did this little field also. It's kind of all one field, it's just a ditch in the middle. So usually, if they're packed good and tight, these are pretty good. They're gonna weigh about 500 pounds per bale, depending on the size.